Hello and welcome back to TechnoSurgeon YouTube channel. So we got kind of a bad news. We saw that GPU support PCIe 5.0 standards, 5.0, 4.0, 5.0 by 16 lanes, and 4.0 16 lanes is mostly used because major manufacturers, major motherboards still comes with PCIe 4.0 by 16 lanes or PCIe 5.0 by 16 lanes if you go higher end. But now we have some news regarding it that PCI bottlenecks slash NVIDIA RTX 5090 content performance by 25%, which is a bad thing to see. Like most of the content creators uses RTX 5090, and if you put it in the wrong slot of like PCI 4.0 by 16 lane, you will essentially get less performance. Maybe PCI 5.0 not by 16 but by 8 lane. If you put it, you get a significant drop off. As you can see in the DaVinci Resolve benchmark, Pages Systems found that the configuration running at PCI 5.0, 5.0 by 16 by 8 and or 4.0 yields virtually identical render times, dropping to PCI 5.0 by 4, 4.0 by 8 and 3.0 by 16 introduce a modest 10% slowdown, further reducing bandwidth to 4.0 by 4 and 3.0 by 18 results in an increasingly roughly of 25% in render times, which is bad to see. Yeah, you will essentially use like the top slot on your motherboard to get the performance, and essentially you should use it because it has more PCI lanes. But at the same time, if you put it on the lower end of your PCI express slot for some reason, you will essentially getting like up to 25% less performance out of it. So keep that in mind and put your graphics card in the perfect positions. And do not, it's only for content creation and not for gaming, because in gaming you will just get a rate of 2% loss. So it's not that much. Next up, Intel Arrow Lake refresh with higher clocks is coming this half of the year. We already know there's next generation Nova Lake is coming, but it's coming next year, so they need something which is in middle of those two CPUs generation. That's why they are introducing this refresh, Arrow Lake refresh. And ZDNet is reported on Arrow Lake refresh, which is expected to launch in the second half of the year. It is the last for LGA 1851 socket. And as you can see, Arrow Lake refresh, which will be released in the second half of this year, is expected to target AI demands with a slight increase in operating clock and replacement of NPU. So yeah, Arrow Lake refresh is not that good. We already know about it, but yeah, it is what it is. Nova Lake S is coming later down the line, so keep that in mind. Next up, we also got some nice news. We already knew ZLUDA, which was like an open source library which converts CUDA to run on the AMD's ROCm, was stopped. It was basically what happened was ZLUDA was an open source. It was purchased by AMD and then they stopped it, and for a year we didn't got any update. But now we see a major progress in bringing NVIDIA CUDAs to other GPU, doubles developer count. Yeah, it's essentially two people working on it, and yeah, ZLUDA might break the exclusivity boundaries between NVIDIA CUDA and hardware for other GPU manufacturers. The reason behind it is like CUDA libraries is such available, and NVIDIA has made it so proprietary that everyone uses CUDA for their AI workloads. Even though AMD has its ROCm, it's not that good compared to CUDA. And ZLUDA is essentially an API framework which runs on top of other GPUs. If you are using ROCm, it will run on top of ROCm, and it will convert those CUDA instructions API calls into that which can run on these CPUs, which can run on this GPU of ROCm. So yeah, and essentially it's making progress in 2025 on bringing CUDA to non-NVIDIA GPUs, which is essentially a good thing. It started a half a decade ago as a drop in CUDA's implementation for Intel GPUs, and then for several reasons, yes, was funded by AMD as a CUDA implementation for Radeon GPUs at ROCm, and the open source, but then reverted has been continuing to push along a new path since last year, The current take on ZLUDA is a multi-vendor CUDA implementation for non-NVIDIA GPUs for AI workloads and more. More progress are made during Q2 on this effort. So ZLUDA is back and has been dealing with AVI breaks in ROCm, continuing efforts on ensuring a bit accurate execution across GPU drivers, improving logics, some progress on NVIDIA physics, and more. ZLUDA also enjoys automated builds produced on GitHub. So it's essentially a nice thing that ZLUDA is back. Lastly, for today, we have some news regarding NVIDIA, and NVIDIA's first desktop PC chip lands this month. ASUS leads with SNGX 10 Grace Blackwell desktop platform. Do note it is based on ARM, but essentially it's not ARM based. It's not similar to Snapdragon X Elite. It's ARM based. It's based on Grace Blackwell GPU architecture. Yeah, it's NVIDIA's GP10 super chip, but it's packaged in a smaller form factor, a Grace CPU that packs a 10 high-performance ARM Cortex X N25 cores, which is running up to 3.9 GHz with 10 power efficiency A Cortex A725 cores, alongside with a Blackwell GPU capable of delivering 1 petaflops of FP4 compute for AI workloads. So yeah, NVIDIA is all set to launch their first CPU in the market, first desktop CPU, and let's see how things turns out. We already saw it in the GPX DGX Park, but it was just there for hyper for people who are willing to spend those kind of money, which is like 18,000 bucks according to me. But yeah, now it's available for commercial use. But yeah, it is going to be hell of expensive. But yeah, that's it from me today. What do you think about all of the news? Sound off your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll meet you in the next one. Peace out.